Dave Chappelle has never held back when it comes to calling out Hollywood's chaos, but this time, he's thrown a grenade into the mix that no one saw coming. During a recent comedy special, Dave suggested that Sean Diddy Combs might have tried to spike him, and while he wrapped the claim in his signature humor, the details he shared were too pointed to ignore. So, was this just another one of Dave's comedy bits, or is he hinting at something deeper? Let's unravel the layers and dive into this shocking exposé. Diddy's name has been dragged through the mud lately, with allegations piling up about his life behind the camera's lifestyle and alleged shady dealings. But Dave's revelations go beyond the rumors, pulling back the curtain on Diddy's infamous FO parties and bizarre obsession with baby oil, topics Dave has been joking about for years. But that's not all. Dave even hinted that he was blacklisted from Diddy's notorious parties. And according to Dave, he just discovered his alleged absence is because he has what he called snitch energy, a jab that left fans speculating about how much he really knows. In his fourth appearance on SNL, Dave didn't just break another SNL record in terms of monologue's length, but he also came to address 2024's most controversial topic, Diddy List, which came up following Homeland Security's raid on Diddy's mansions in LA and Miami back in March 2024.
Great.
Oprah. J-Lo. A-Rod. Will Smith.
And while it's never been confirmed, it's been alleged that this list ties big-name celebs like Jay-Z, Beyonce, J-Lo, Ellen DeGeneres, Oprah, Ashton Kutcher, Leonardo DiCaprio, and even some political figures to depraved behavior at Diddy's freak-off parties. So when Dave Chappelle took the SNL stage, we expected laughs, but what he delivered was far more complex. While his jokes about wildfires and Trump drew chuckles, his commentary on Diddy, his involvement or not with Diddy, raised eyebrows. Dave began by describing his life as a celebrity under constant scrutiny, joking about how he feels like he's storming the of Normandy every time he performs. But his comparison seems this was not just humor, he was seemingly preparing to address him being or not being on the alleged Diddy list.
What we got here? And probably be like, oh.
Now Dave starts by calling out Diddy in subtle jabs, suggesting how Diddy was in an enormous amount of trouble, even comparing him to someone caught in a RICO case all alone. But as he progressed, it was clear Dave wasn't just trying to entertain, he was hinting at something deeper. Dave's monologue went beyond lighthearted jabs. He didn't shy from addressing the jaw-dropping rumors and speculation. At one point, Dave referenced a wild story he encountered online, saying he was glad they didn't call him though, because the stories that come out about it are crazy. He recounted an alleged tale about a man who claimed to have attended one of Diddy's notorious parties. According to the story, the man walked into a back room and found Diddy with actor Reginald VelJohnson, best known as Carl Winslow from Family Matters. The man claimed Diddy was engaging in questionable behavior and allegedly said, "Yeah, it feels good to make another man do your bidding."
Yeah, man, he's like, I was at the freak off one time and I went in the back room and Puff was in there with Carl Winslow, with Dad from Family Matters. He was smashing and I was like, Puff, what are you doing?
Though Dave made it clear he doubted the story's truth, his reaction was loaded with comedic disbelief. Carl Winslow from Family Matters was there and I wasn't invited, he joked.
And they'd be like, well, how all these people you know was at the freak off, but she's the only one that wasn't at the freak off. And I thought about it for a minute. I said, oh my God.
He closed by pivoting to self-deprecation, pointing out his supposed snitch energy as the reason he was never invited to such events. But see, Chappelle's jokes about these rumors were layered with tension and nuance. Which now takes us back to 2004. Nearly 2 decades ago, Dave parodied Diddy in a Making the Band skit that has since become iconic and subject of scrutiny. In the skit, he portrayed Diddy as an eccentric control freak, barking outrageous orders at aspiring artists.
If you notice, Dave played Diddy and he had a lot of baby oil on his lips. Dave knew something that we didn't know. Dave knew something, that oil was gonna come in.
Well, we cannot deny how it was utterly hilarious back then. But looking back now, it seems like Dave was subtly calling out Diddy's bizarre behavior. The over-the-top portrayal, from sending contestants to fetch sugar cookies and Cambodian breast milk to his exaggerated use of baby oil, wasn't just comedy, it might have been commentary.
We be bad boy artists here, but if you wanna do it, first y'all gotta walk to Queens and get me a sugar cookie. sugar cookie, man.
Fans are now questioning if Dave knew more about Diddy's antics back then than he let on. The skit's exaggerated portrayal of Diddy's obsession with baby oil feels eerily prophetic, especially in light of recent revelations. Was Dave subtly warning us all along? Let's connect a few dots here. Dave's skit poking fun at Diddy's baby oil obsession was funny back then, but now it feels like a piece of a much larger puzzle. In a federal raid on Diddy's properties last year, authorities reportedly found a staggering 1,000 bottles of baby oil, which his lawyer brushed, calling him a conscientious consumer. While this detail might seem absurd, it raised serious questions about Diddy's private life and the rumors swirling around him.
Genuinely threesomes. How do you explain 1,000 bottles of baby oil?
I don't know where the number 1,000 came.
The U.S. attorney said it.
I can't imagine it's thousands. I mean,
During his SNL monologue, Dave joked about how he's 51 and has never finished a single bottle of baby oil in his life, quipping that Diddy must be committed to the lifestyle to stockpile so much. Sure, this one got the audience in stitches, but we cannot ignore Dave's underlying message. He knew something wasn't right from back then and kept off from the word go. Dave's joke about Diddy's excessive baby oil stockpile was more than just a punchline. It was a subtle nod to behavior that's long been seen as bizarre. His humor cleverly masked deeper implications, leaving fans questioning just how much Dave has observed over the years.
Y'all gotta walk uptown to the Bronx and get breast milk from a Cambodian immigrant. I only drink the finest breast milks. Go out there and milk Cambodia.
This speculation ties back to Dave's earlier works, like his Making the Band skit, which many now view as a warning about Diddy's unusual tendencies. By staying out of certain circles, Dave appears to have avoided entanglements while continuing to highlight Hollywood's darker undercurrents through his comedy. Some people have even speculated how Dave knew Diddy's behavior isn't just about extravagance, it's and was deeply unusual from a decade ago. In fact, Dave's remarks turned the spotlight back onto Diddy's past, making it impossible to ignore the strange patterns emerging. Which takes us back to one of the most talked about moments from Dave's monologue, where he claims that he was never invited to Diddy's notorious freak-off parties.
They say, Dave, did you know anything about those freak-off parties? And I'd be like, nah, man.
While he was brushed it off with the snitch energy joke, but fans were quick to point out the irony. How could Dave claim ignorance about these parties when his Making the Band skit seemed to hint at Diddy's wild lifestyle years ago? And again, Sean Combs was the executive producer of the skit. While he ridiculed the absurdity of such stories, he simultaneously mocked the hidden, debaucherous side of Hollywood culture. His 2004 skit, viewed in this context, feels less like exaggerated parody and more like a creative outlet for truths that couldn't be spoken openly at the time. The over-the-top antics in the skit, such as Diddy obsessing over baby oil or sending contestants on impossible errands, such as getting 100% Cambodian breast milk, might have been Dave's way of highlighting real eccentricities and excesses he had either witnessed or heard about.
Y'all not working like a team? I gotta shut the studio down, yo. All right, the only way I open the studio up now.
Diddy has long been the subject of rumors and allegations, from his excessive lifestyle to claims of manipulation and control. While many of these stories have remained unverified, the sheer volume of whispers has been hard to ignore. Dave's monologue didn't explicitly accuse Diddy of wrongdoing, but it added fuel to the fire, bringing old allegations back into the spotlight. Dave's quip about finding out through a newspaper that everyone in Hollywood had an behind his back was both hilarious and revealing, and has earned him both praise and criticism.
It's way up at Angela Yee. My guy Mano's here.
I'm here, baby.
Yee tea time. Oh man, I love Dave Chappelle.
He joked about how none of his friends thought to invite him, saying it was a tough way to discover he wasn't as in the loop as he thought. But beneath the humor lies a more serious question. How much does Dave really know about Hollywood's darker side? His monologue suggests he's aware of more than he lets on. By framing his comments as jokes, Dave has managed to avoid direct accusations while still shedding light on the murky underbelly of celebrity culture. It's a clever tactic, but it also leaves viewers wondering how much truth lies behind the humor. Despite Dave Chappelle's playful tone in his SNL monologue, fans aren't convinced by his claims of ignorance regarding Diddy's infamous freak-off parties. While Dave pretended to know nothing about the wild allegations, many believe his remarks cleverly downplayed his awareness of Diddy's controversial lifestyle. His jokes, particularly about being excluded due to his snitch energy, came across as a convenient way to deflect deeper scrutiny while still dropping hints that he might know more than he's letting on. When Dave Chappelle passed on hosting the post-election episode of Saturday Night Live last November, it raised eyebrows. This was the first time since 2016 that Dave hadn't stepped into that coveted hosting role after a major political event. According to Dave himself, it wasn't because Lorne Michaels didn't ask him, he did. But Dave chose to sit it out, offering to host in January instead, claiming he wanted to avoid controversy. However, the timing of his decision aligns with a particularly chaotic moment for Sean Diddy Combs. At the time, Diddy was embroiled in a storm of allegations, lawsuits, and public scrutiny. His name was dominating headlines, with stories surfacing about his alleged misconduct and controversial lifestyle. Dave, known for his fearless approach to comedy, has never shied away from addressing sensitive topics. So why would he decline such a high-profile opportunity during this media frenzy? Some speculate that Dave's decision to step back wasn't about avoiding general controversy, but about steering clear of being dragged into Diddy's narrative. Dave's history of poking fun at Diddy's eccentricities, dating back to his iconic Making the Band skit, could have placed him in the crosshairs of public discussion. Hosting SNL while Diddy's case was peaking might have forced Dave to either address the scandal directly or risk criticism for avoiding it altogether.
And he asked me to do Saturday Night Live, the first episode after the election. And I was like, nah, man, I'm cool.
By waiting until January, Dave may have been calculating a safer moment to reclaim the stage. The decision hints at someone keenly aware of how his words and actions might be interpreted in the wider media landscape. This deliberate timing could reveal a strategic move to protect his own name while still controlling the narrative on his terms. When Dave Chappelle finally hosted Saturday Night Live in January, he quipped, "The moment I said yes, LA burst into flames." While the joke landed well, it carried an eerie undertone. The fires he referred to were the massive California wildfires that had just swept through the region, destroying countless homes, including several high-profile estates. Many have noted the bizarre patterns surrounding these fires. Estates belonging to Hollywood elites have mysteriously gone up in flames at pivotal moments in their legal or personal scandals. And with Diddy's case under intense scrutiny, rumors started swirling that the fires were more than a natural disaster. They were a convenient way to destroy incriminating evidence. Allie Carter, an alleged Diddy victim, had previously warned about the upcoming fires.
Didn't I tell y'all there will be an accidental explosion? Accidental fire? And the next thing you know,
It's not just Allie Carter fueling speculation about the connections between Diddy and those allegedly impacted by the recent fires. Former government official Katherine Fitz has also raised eyebrows by questioning how many people linked to Sean Diddy Combs have been affected.
One of the first questions, I'll be honest, that I'm going to look at when I look at some of the communities involved is how many of the homeowners were on the P. Diddy list.
On her podcast, Fitz remarked how in situations like the LA fires, she looks at patterns as well as the communities involved. She then goes further to point out how many of the homeowners were on the P. Diddy list. Dave's decision to finally host SNL shortly after these fires suggests he might have felt the storm surrounding Diddy's allegations was beginning to dissipate. So did Dave see the fires as a symbolic reset for Hollywood's elites, including Diddy? With potential evidence literally up in smoke, Dave may have felt confident enough to step back into the spotlight after dodging the issue before.
What's up, Dave? How you doing, Dave? Hey, Dave, you think it's too early to make jokes about Diddy?
This theory gains traction when considering Dave's subtle humor and layered storytelling. His joke about the fires wasn't just a random observation, it was a well-timed nod to the chaos unfolding in Hollywood. It's the kind of comment that leaves audiences wondering how much Dave knows and how much he's choosing to reveal. By hosting SNL after the fires, Dave may have been signaling that the dust, both literal and figurative, had finally settled. Dave Chappelle's SNL monologue has sparked a whirlwind of conversation, and the implications are hard to ignore. From his biting humor to his subtle warnings, Dave has once again proven why he's one of the most compelling voices in comedy today. But now it's your turn to weigh in. What do you think about his comments? Do you believe he was hinting at something deeper, or was it all just for laughs? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to check out our next video where we dive into another explosive Hollywood controversy.